Two brothers, one empire. The drug lords who outsmarted America until betrayal brought it all down. The night the empire fell. It started with a sound no one in the quiet suburbs of Phoenix ever forgot, the crash of a front door being kicked in. At exactly 3:27 a.m., on a humid July night, federal agents stormed a luxury home worth nearly $5 million. Inside were two brothers, men who'd built what the DA later called one of the most sophisticated drug empires in U.S. history. But these weren't your typical street dealers. They were educated, strategic, ruthless, and for years, they operated right under the government's nose. As flashbangs detonated and SWAT teams flooded the property, the empire they'd built, brick by brick, deal by deal, came crashing down. By sunrise, headlines across America would scream the same words. Two brothers faced decades in prison after massive drug bust. But this story goes much deeper than what the headlines told. Because before the empire, before the money and betrayal, there was blood, loyalty, and a secret that tore everything apart. This is the story of the Rivera brothers, how they rose from the streets to run a billion-dollar drug network, and how, in one night, it all ended. The American dream. To understand how it all began, we have to go back to a small two-bedroom apartment on the south side of Phoenix, Arizona. That's where Miguel and Adrian Rivera grew up, two brothers, only 2 years apart, raised by a single mother who worked double shifts cleaning motels. She used to tell them, if you stay together, nothing in this world can break you. But life had other plans. Miguel, the older brother, was quiet, methodical. He excelled in school, obsessed with numbers, business, and technology. Adrian, on the other hand, was wild, charming, impulsive, and addicted to risk. Where Miguel saw strategy, Adrian saw opportunity. In the late 2000s, while other kids were hustling sneakers and video games, Adrian was hustling pills, the kind that spread through neighborhoods like wildfire. Miguel tried to stop him. He'd say, "Bro, this isn't who we are." But when their mother's health took a turn and the rent piled up, the line between survival and sin began to blur. By the time Miguel graduated college, Adrian had built a small network and needed someone smart enough to hide it from the law. That's when Miguel made a decision that would change both their lives forever. He didn't just join his brother. He turned the hustle into an operation, blueprint of an empire. In 2012, the Rivera brothers created a business no one saw coming. On paper, it was called Phoenix Imports and Logistics, a legitimate company that dealt in cross-border shipments of electronics and spare parts. But hidden inside those containers were packages worth millions. Pure methamphetamine and fentanyl sourced directly from Mexico's Sinaloa cartel. Miguel handled the logistics, encryption, and money laundering. Adrian controlled distribution. The streets, the dealers, the violence. They didn't wear chains or drive flashy cars. They wore suits, invested in real estate, and paid accountants to balance their drug empire, like a corporate empire. By 2015, their network spanned 6 states, with distributors stretching from California to Texas. Their profits? Estimated at over $300 million a year. And yet, no one suspected a thing. They donated to charities, sponsored youth soccer teams, even appeared in local business magazines as self-made entrepreneurs. But the DEA was watching. They just didn't know who they were watching yet, because the Rivera brothers were ghosts. No fingerprints, no traceable transactions, no slip-ups. Until one night, they made one. The slip? It was a single phone call. Just one. That cracked open the empire. Adrian's right-hand man, Luis Ghost Morales, was under quiet surveillance for arms trafficking. The DEA had been tracking his burner phone, not because of drugs, but because of illegal firearm shipments moving through Tucson. And then, at 10:48 p.m. on a Friday, Luis called a new number. A number traced to a prepaid phone registered under the name Michael Rios. The problem? That Michael Rios didn't exist, but the voice on the line matched Miguel Rivera. That one mistake gave the DEA the lead they'd been desperate for. Within days, a task force was formed. Operation Iron Shadow. Their goal: infiltrate, monitor, and dismantle the Rivera organization from the inside out. But the agents had no idea. They were walking into a world where betrayal ran deeper than loyalty, and where every move had deadly consequences. The mole: to take down the Riveras. The DEA needed someone inside. Someone who could move between the brothers without raising suspicion. That's when they found him. Rico Alvarez, a mid-level supplier who'd been arrested in Texas, with 20 kilos of product tied to Adrian's network. Facing 25 years, Rico made a deal. He'd wear a wire. He'd record every conversation, every meeting, every delivery. But there was one problem. Adrian trusted Rico like a brother, and Miguel didn't trust anyone. Rico's first job was to meet Miguel in a private hangar outside Phoenix, to pitch a new smuggling route through Nevada. Hidden cameras caught the moment. Miguel barely looked up from his tablet. "Miguel, you think we're just moving product. We're moving time. Every second we stay ahead of them, that's money. You understand that?" Rico, hesitant: "Yeah, I understand." Miguel: "Good. Then don't make me waste mine." It was enough for the DEA to confirm what they'd suspected. Miguel was the brain. Adrian was the muscle. But as the months went on, Rico started feeding them more than evidence. He started feeding them hope that the brothers could actually be taken down, until the day everything went wrong. Because in this game, betrayal doesn't stay hidden for long. Blood runs deep. March 2017. A warehouse in Nevada. Rico was there, wired up, set to record a shipment transfer worth nearly $8 million. But someone tipped Adrian off. When the deal started, the brothers didn't show. Instead, masked men entered the warehouse. Rico realized too late what was happening. The last thing the DEA heard on the wire was Rico whispering, "Something's wrong." Then, gunfire, screaming, silence. The agents raided the site 30 minutes later. Rico was gone. No body. No trace. The Riveras vanished too. Their phones dead, properties cleared. Bank accounts empty. It was as if they disappeared from the face of the earth. But what no one knew was that the brothers weren't running. They were resetting. Because for the Riveras, this wasn't the end of the empire. It was just the beginning of the war. The Ghost Empire. For 6 months after the Nevada ambush, the Rivera brothers disappeared. No credit card trails. No phone signals. No sightings. But behind that silence, something darker was happening. Using encrypted networks, Miguel rebuilt the operation from scratch. This time, completely digital. No names. No faces. No paper trail. Just crypto wallets, burner devices, and anonymous couriers paid in silence and fear. They called it the Ghost Network. Adrian handled the streets from underground, using smaller independent crews that didn't even know who they worked for. Meanwhile, Miguel sat in safe houses across Mexico City, El Paso, and Las Vegas, running a shadow economy through code. He once said to Adrian, "We used to sell drugs. Now we sell invisibility." And for a while, it worked. The DEA had nothing. No shipments, no communication, no financial links. But the violence? The violence told another story. In just 3 months, 8 of Adrian's former lieutenants were found dead, all shot twice in the head, execution style. No witnesses, no shells. It was like someone was cleaning house. And deep down, Miguel knew who it was. The brother's shadow. Adrian had changed. The man who used to laugh in the face of danger now trusted no one. He accused his own people of betrayal, ordered beatings, and executed 2 men without proof. One of them was his driver 5 years. Miguel tried to reason with him, but Adrian had crossed a line long ago. "Miguel, you're burning everything we built." Adrian: "No, I'm burning the snakes before they bite us." Adrian's paranoia became his compass, and for the first time, the loyalty that had defined the Rivera brothers began to crack. Rumors spread in the underground that Adrian had started his own side operation, moving product through a rival cartel connection. It wasn't business anymore. It was ego. And Miguel? He started making plans without his brother's knowledge, quietly sending data to a contact in Mexico City, someone he believed could help them go legitimate. But that contact wasn't who he thought. The informant, the contact's name was Isabella Cruz, a financial consultant who claimed to specialize in laundering high-value assets for foreign clients. Miguel met her in a private office overlooking Mexico City. She spoke softly, confidently, the kind of person who knew how to keep secrets. Isabella, you want to disappear? Then stop thinking like a criminal. Think like money. Miguel, and what does money do? Isabella, smiling, it moves where it can't be seen. For months, she helped Miguel reroute millions through shell companies in Panama, the Cayman Islands, and Dubai. Everything looked perfect. Too perfect. Because Isabella wasn't a consultant. She was working for Homeland Security, a deep-cover operative planted to bait cartel financiers. Every transfer, every encrypted message Miguel sent, was being traced, cataloged, and fed into the heart of Operation Iron Shadow. The DEA finally had their ghost, but they didn't move yet. They wanted both brothers, and they needed proof that the Riveras were still working together. So Isabella kept the game going. She made Miguel believe she could help him vanish for good. A new identity, a new life overseas. And he believed her until Adrian found out. Betrayal bloodline. It was supposed to be a quiet dinner, just the two of them, in a villa outside Cancun. Adrian hadn't seen Miguel in months. He showed up unannounced. His face harder, his tone colder. Adrian, you think I don't know what you're doing? Miguel, what are you talking about? Adrian, moving money behind my back. Meeting with that woman. You think I don't have eyes? Miguel tried to explain. He told him about Isabella, how she could help them leave everything behind, how they could finally walk away free. But Adrian laughed, a bitter, broken laugh. Adrian, you still think there's a way out of this? We're in too deep, brother. There's no leaving, not for people like us. The argument turned violent. A shove, a punch, then silence. Miguel looked into his brother's eyes and saw a man consumed by fear, by pride, by power. That night, Miguel made a choice that sealed both their fates. He called Isabella. He told her everything. He gave up the coordinates of their entire network, and in doing so, he unknowingly signed his brother's death warrant. The fall, July 18th, 2018. Phoenix, Arizona, the same city where it all began. Federal agents, SWAT teams, and DEA operatives mobilized across 6 states. Codename, Iron Shadow Phase 2. At 3:27 a.m., the same hour as the first raid years earlier, doors exploded open. Dozens of arrests were made simultaneously. Luxury homes, warehouses, stash houses, everything the Riveras had built was wiped out in one night. Miguel was taken quietly from a condo in Scottsdale. No resistance, no words. He didn't fight. He just whispered, I did what I had to do. But Adrian, he didn't surrender. Surrounded at a remote ranch near the Mexican border, he opened fire, alone, outnumbered, and determined not to be taken alive. The gunfight lasted 27 minutes. When it was over, Adrian Rivera lay face down in the dirt, the Empire's last soldier. And as dawn broke, the story that had once been whispered through criminal networks exploded across the world headlines. 2 brothers, 1 empire, the drug bust that shocked America. Trial of the Ghost. Miguel Rivera's trial became one of the most watched criminal cases of the decade. Federal prosecutors painted him as a mastermind, a man who turned the drug trade into a corporate machine. Defense attorneys argued he was trying to escape, that he tried to cooperate before the DA even raided. But the truth was twisted, buried beneath years of deception and blood. During sentencing, the judge looked Miguel in the eyes and said, You built an empire out of poison, and in doing so, you destroyed not only lives, but your own family. Miguel showed no emotion, no tears, no apology. He was sentenced to life in federal prison without parole. And when reporters asked if he regretted turning his brother in, he simply said, "I didn't betray him. I saved him from becoming me." Legacy of Shadows. Today, years later, the Rivera name has become legend, a ghost story whispered in prisons and cartel circles alike. Miguel sits in a cell at ADX Florence, the same supermax that holds El Chapo and the Unabomber. He doesn't talk to anyone. He doesn't take visitors. But every year, on July 18th, the anniversary of the raid, he writes one letter. No return address. No signature. Just 4 words. "Forgive me, my brother." No one knows where those letters go. Some say he writes them to Adrian's grave. Others say he sends them to their mother's old apartment, the one where it all began. Whatever the truth is, one thing remains certain. The Rivera brothers built an empire on loyalty, and it was loyalty that destroyed them. The cost of empire. In the end, the Rivera story isn't about drugs. It's about what happens when ambition outgrows humanity, when love becomes currency, when family becomes collateral. The empire fell, not because of greed, but because of trust. And as the dust settled over Phoenix that morning, America realized something chilling. You can take down a network. You can seize the money. You can arrest the men. But you can never erase the blueprint they left behind. Because somewhere, right now, another pair of brothers is watching this story and thinking they won't make the same mistakes. 2 brothers, 1 empire, a legacy written in blood.